equal included in the development of the strategies for an equal participation, for inclusion. And you see, I don't use the word integration. I don't use the word integration. And I will tell you why. My family is living since more than 600 years here in Germany.
Mr. Franz, you are mute. Mr. Franz, you are mute. Please.
Now it's better? No?
Now you're back, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, my families are living since more than 600 years in Germany. And the Gage speaks from, we must integrate us. You know, that's a shame. That's a shame. We are 600 years here, more than some Gage who are living in Germany. So we are really natives from Germany when we speak that we 600-700 years in one country. So, and we influence the culture here from the majority. We influence the culture, and all these things must recognize. And then I speak not about integration. Then I write now inclusion and equal participation, and that we must be involved. And then when I speak we must be involved, I mean we. I don't mean mainly NGOs or big NGOs or no, I mean every person who wants to include must have the possibility to have the chance to be include themselves in this development of inclusion strategies. So that calls we points came to this, and then I will explain you after this report. Now in this time we have collect now, I think Marius knows this number very well, I think 259 amendments. So now we must work on these amendments, and for me it's very important to speak with you too, that you can participate on this on this report too, because the report, the final version of this report we will have in July, when we work on these amendments from the others, course there are many other people, four or five people called the shadow rapporteur. I'm the main rapporteur, and these are the shadow rapporteurs. They have their own opinion, and then I must see how I can, the negotiations, you know, how looks in the final edition, the final version from this report. And it's a really hard work, and I spoke with many people from our people, from Roma people, what they think, what is important, and I will include this, but we must see how are working these negotiations, how I can handle that. I think in the last time when we have the final version, I must put something from the others too in this report, because then when we have this report will came in July in the Liebe Committee, and then this report must be elected. You know, I must have votes, and I will the most. I want the majority, that they are all, the most of them are in favor with our report, and then we have a good we have a good basic for a new frame. So it's a little bit complication, and please, I'm very sorry about my English. It's not so very good to explain that.
Thank you very much. Your English is good. Thank you for this explanation also. So I will try now to summarize in very shortly in Romanes, but in my Romanes. I hope that everybody understands my Romanes. Franz Вакиргя башо лески иницијатива од законска рамки која со мангилате му ќолен кој европјан кој парламентите, но чисто башо ќерла пелафи башо јек под огаџеки Европа и по Балкан кенамен сар цигања сар са јек исто, најниса во хетерогеност на керена ниса ви разлика машкаро рома машка нешто башо политичка поење тогаш мен сем рома. Кога најбути ниса во политичко корист, тогаш мен сем цигања, мен сем цигоња, мен сем китанос, мен сем сега вер само на Рома. А кога документи, хем лескери извештаја, хем лескери бути, однесиновапе и кавопе теменино наративи роменгоро, те и клеопетари од еа рамка која со огаѓеј силен дека мен на сем са иста, а мен сем различна, машкара менде, ема предина кој дола оласо диќе на мен. Кероа пелави башо те пристапинопе е хронолошки према Рома телаудан упре. Дека мен сем различна, мен сем дел од тари Европа. Башо акала лескаро и бутием, лескерем предлогем извештајат, чека најкане работиме душе лупиндуења амандмања, која се требува да обработинемпе, чико јули месец, емо акатео рајо Франц, но дола менда, честинадат хан, тешајте тела амандмањата да Амаре тием предлогите о good. I summarize good your point. So now I will give opportunity for someone from the group just to ask question or to be included with his proposal, short summary. But please, before you speak, just say who you are, where you come from, just shortly, one sentence, and then ask the question or give your opinion to start discussion. Thank you. Anyone? Okay, so does anyone like to give his comment or to ask question? Can you hear me?
Grato di avviare questa discussione.
Okay. Mr. Gratan, please. Mr. Gratan, are you here?
Un microphone si isključíme skoro.
Unmute the mic.
Okay, here we are. Yeah, I'm very inspired by the conference because it is a very inspirational mix of people, because I'm very glad to meet today with Samka Ibramovsky, the party of Faik Abdi. So there we are, the parliamentarians are with us. And then we have activists like Tahir Ridarov, of course, and also Orhan Tahir, who I know for many years as a powerful radical activist. So we have this very inspirational mix of people. And it is my hope, perhaps you could say my dream, that such a mix of people can become the vanguard of our Romani movement at this very critical time that we are in today, not only with the disease, but with anti-Gypsyism, but also with the chance, this chance that we have that is presented to us by Romeo of France in the bill that he presents before Parliament. Because the difference with this bill is that it's the old solutions again, but with this difference, an obligation is placed upon the governments and national Roma strategies to do it, and not to be just volunteering to do it. The other important element to my mind is the degree to which Romeo wishes us to be part of, that Roma are in a partnership with the officials or with the government representations. This is the most important part, because I think today's most important issue is the question of our representation, our political representation. So I asked Romeo in a writing before this conference, how can we find that balance? How can we find that right relationship, if his bill is passed, between the idea of a 50-50 committee, perhaps giving us a great example of street activism. And just as a last word, because Romeo has himself appealed to us to support his bill with street action. And in London, we are already preparing for that street action on the 2nd of August. We're going to hold traditional Oiramos Holocaust ceremony, but also then march to Europe House and present ourselves as being in support of the bill, of the proposal now before the European Parliament. We hope that action that we take in London can be duplicated all over Europe. And before this conference ends today, I would like to ask each person how much they omit in their cities of street and presenting themselves to the European embassies, the embassies of the European Union, with much pressure as possible. Romeo has himself appealed to us to support his bill with
Mr. Grattan, thank you. Just if you finish with 19 minutes, everybody else, thank you very much. Mr. Franz, would you like just to reply on this, or?
Yes, please. Kako Grattan says something very important. One thing.
Romeo, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me. Samska, close the audio. Close it. Samska, close.
Giving us a great example of.
Okay, now it's better. Yes. I will mention something. Kako Grattan says something very important. He speaks about voluntary. In the past and to now, the states, what they do for us, for the inclusion strategy and to fight against racism, is for all the states voluntary. And that includes a very big fail, mistake. And that's my second priority after the fight against anti-Gypsyism, is that the Commission must find a way that the new frame has a binding character. A binding character gives us much more security in this work, and that is something what we must change from this voluntary, what the Commission do, the voluntary courts, they say to the national states, you can do that when you want, but the national states say the most, I don't like that to do. It's voluntary, and that we must change. That we have in the new frame a binding character. A binding character. That's not easy. That's very easy, and I must play with the words what I used to make it fix. But that's the second priority. What we fight for this binding characters for the new Romani inclusion strategy. That I will mention.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Anybody else?
Sorry, John.
Yes, Marius.
Can I add something, please?
Yes, please.
First of all, I would like to apologize because I'm driving. I have some issues with one of my children, so I have to drive to a medical checkup. But his meeting is very important for Mr. Franz and myself. We would like to thank you all for participating. I would like just to make a clarification and to say this. For the first time in the history of the European Parliament, a member of the European Parliament, a simple member, had the courage to ask in his resolution for a directive for Romani equality and inclusion, which is a law. What does it mean? Until now, as Mr. Franz said, the member states or the EU Roma framework was a soft policy. It gave the choice to the member states to implement measures for Romani inclusion or not. Unfortunately, most of the member states did not implement and did not allocate enough money for these measures. Mr. Franz is trying right now through his resolution to ask the Commission to come with a proposal for a law, which means that the member states will be obliged to translate in their national systems the measure for the Romani inclusion at national structures, regional structures, and especially in the local councils, where, you know, in this kind of communities, most of our people are living. And one of the most important things that Mr. Franz is asking from the member states is to tell from the beginning how much money do they need to implement Romani inclusion measures, and to tell us from what budget, how much from the EU and how much from the national budget. And then to allocate this money, especially at the local level budget and policies, so our people can finally feel that they are treated as equal citizens and that they are having access to actually basic human rights. So this is what I wanted to point out, because until now there were a lot of resolutions for Romani people in the European Parliament, and they were very good, but none of these resolutions had this courageous call for a directive. Why a directive? We could see the COVID-19, as Mr. Franz said, shown us the urgency to invest in our Romani communities, because many of our people suffer. If there was a law in place, most of our people wouldn't suffer like this. And another thing which is very important, and Mr. Franz also mentioned, but I would also like to point it out. Mr. Franz is asking in his report that the member states should include in their national legal systems, in their national judicial systems, preventive and corrective measures to combat anti-Gypsyism. So if another politician like Traian Băsescu in Romania will ever dare to say that that Roma people are criminals, then he will go in jail. That's the worst case scenario. Or he will pay a huge fine. So these are very strong priorities. Mr. Franz and also myself will appreciate your support in making this this proposal a reality. That was all.
Okay. Thank you, Marius, for your clarification and explanation. I hope that part of these people, maybe for sure, the network group our network group will have some proposals to your amendments with our proposals, and to see what can happen. After Moses, I would like also to just to open the question how this European strategies or European law frames can influence, or is there possibility somehow to take the good examples from Europe to implement it in Balkan grounds? Because we are speaking about frames, law frames, strategy frames, about the improving of the status, the cohesion of the Romani minorities in Roma, which is absolutely needed. I agree completely. And I would like to thank to both to you and Mr. Franz about the efforts that you're doing, very encouraging. But also for Balkan people, for example, I'm from North Macedonia, we are not part of Europe, so it's not also, the situation is very, very critical. So let's discuss about this later. So now, because Moses raised his hand, I saw, so I would like Moses to say something. Moses o microphone. Moses.
Yes, okay. Yes, thank you. Also, Srđan, mega keraf romane, baši mi anglijsko blokada. Čačera dinama mene isto saro gratani, kana dikap kai sikate jek mix taro pobut romane različito, diferentno, sar političko, sar дизутникано сектори, кога се долема надеж дека Орбано пучиве шајте нопе којек завршно паза, джикоте сием којек мисјамен јек стратешко идеја, баши реализација. Некере нама зала напалал, којек пучиве, пошто сјакате доста жене кога со активистија, таро граѓанско сектори, ако со испечи силен баро искуство, саки мобилизација сарко јек процеси башо решавање романо проблеменгоро, можда на генерално, али степен по степен, джала по наобрија. А одвајтало, ме би магасите дикапте пучинемпе со отенеда чавета јаваја, кога со тале ме благодарнама неге со тале дело, трека конференција. Со вакеген о Ромео Франц вакеријат кај веќе тале понудиме дујши лупинду ења амандманија, кога со по јули месец, пардон, кога требате разгледи немпеско Европско парламенти. Дали амен джикоте о Европско парламенти на припатинела са ке амандмања или на припатинела о заложбета о Ромео Франц, дали амен ди сјамен ди саво плани, дали сјамен амен ди си стратешко идеја, саршај те спротистави намен, ја те си кавама разоралипе, мујал башо джикоте акала амандмања или делотро акала амандмања на успејнена те гласи немпеско Европако парламенти.
Okay, I will just go shortly in English about the question of Moses. If these amendments are not passing in the European Parliament, what is our plan? Do we have a plan? How are we going itself without these amendments? That was Moses Solomon, and also question. He asked if you like to explain what these amendments will be about, and does they target European laws or other resolutions? So, Mr. Franz, maybe if you like to answer to the two questions, first of Moses and also of.
Srđan, maybe you can repeat the first question so we can be very clear for Mr. Franz.
Yes, Marius, do that.
It was breaking up.
Yes.
No, Mr. Franz,
so
you will answer, but I didn't hear the question. So maybe Srđan can repeat the question so you can understand very clear the question. Srđan, what was the first question, please?
Amendments don't have enough the support in European Parliament. What is our backup plan? What is your plan? How can we straighten ourselves without this political advocacy?
do that, Marius.
Thank you, sir. Now, you have to know that we have received close to 300 amendments. Mr. Franz has presented his report on 4th of June in the Libe Committee. And there was a lot of support from most of the political groups for the report. The amendments that we have received, because in the initial form we didn't have space, as Mr. Franz said, the amendments that we have received are now strengthening the report, and we believe the report will be voted in July, will be approved. Let's say, as Mr. Moses asked, if the report will not be voted. This is the worst case scenario, but let's think about it too. If the report will not be voted, then we will do another resolution asking the same thing, and we will repeat the action until people will understand urgency. But from my point of view, it is anyway a precedent, you know, and people will look at it with courage and hope that a law for Roma equality and inclusion is absolutely needed. And this is not going to be like a stress on the member state. Actually, as Mr. Franz always says, this is a need of the member state to balance the situation of all its citizens, Roma and non-Roma. So we are hopeful that the resolution will pass, because we have with us Renew Europe, we have GUE, we have part of EPP, and we have SND. So we have the major four political groups in the European Parliament supporting this resolution. In terms of amendments, and in terms of the connection with the Western Balkans, you have to know that in the amendments, we mentioned also in some Western Balkans, and the attention that the EU must pay, especially to the enlargement countries, to the candidate countries. But right now in the political negotiation, Mr. Franz and myself will welcome your contribution. We have around 2.5 weeks to negotiate. And if you would like to make amendments, if you have comments, opinions, we will be more than happy, and Mr. Franz will be very happy to receive them.
Maybe I can add something. Marius says it very good for Moses, for your question. The point is, you must imagine how is this work in the parliament. Now I have the feeling the most of these political groups are by our side now. Now comes the negotiations. Now it's many from this. Now Mario say now was when I leave Brussels at Thursday was 260, and now are at 300, more than 300 amendments. You see, it comes more and more amendments to that, and we must check all these 300 amendments, and many from these amendments are double. You know, some only, and that's the same, brothers. We have, when we speak now, and I have the feeling in our conference now, we have different opinions. Like me and my wife, we are not every day we have one opinion. So, but that's very that's completely normal. That we have not everything we have one opinion, and that's very good. But I think the main opinion about our strategy, we are united. And then I will, and I told you this at the beginning of the conference. When we have this, that the states or the European Parliament accept this, that anti-Gypsyism must be recognized as the strongest form from racism in Europe, that they must fight against anti-Gypsyism, that we have recognizing that we need binding characters for the strategy. That will be great. The third is when they aware and they recognize that we, as affected human beings, must be from beginning on include in the development of the strategy. When these things, they say, the parliament say yes, then we have really a great success. You can believe me, that's really great. And then we can work at the strategy. That's only the report who prepare our role in this new strategy. You know this? That's not the report when the report is over and is voted and we have everything. No, then it's beginning the work. Then we must develop the strategy. But then this is a decision at which position we are, and I say completely my words, we, not me, we, at which position we are in this negotiations to the strategy plan. And that's my goal, that we have all, and when I speak we, I don't mean me only, all we together, that we have the chance to participate, to bring our experience to help the national states to develop the best strategies. And then it's a very it's difficult, but I will do that because I know now I have 4 years with this mandate. After this 4 years, I don't know that I'm again on the parliament or not, but I will use, and I tell this Kakogratan too, I will use these 4 years to have now really these points that they must recognize the anti-Gypsyism, that we have an equal participation, and that we have can have a chance to have binding characters. And that's something that I'm really happy that we can speak together. And what I need from you all, is a little bit trust. And that's maybe the change here in these conferences, that you see that I will explain you my work, and I will explain you my imaging from our future. And I hope that you agree with me. Not all, maybe it's okay, but I cannot change the world alone. We need many people. We need many opinions. You know, that's the point. We have people like Jellicoe. That's very important. He is in his work and his vision. He is good. We have other people. Their vision and their goals are very good. And we must add everything. We must be to make that to come together to make from this many pieces one pieces, like a puzzle. Yeah. And everyone has his special direction.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Franz. Oh, you finished?
We must love the truth. That is very important, that we love the truth. And that we know that the poorest children is for us so important as the richest Romani man. You know what I mean? That we make no difference about poor and rich. They are all important. For me, when I was in Romania, in Tinca, sometimes, and there was situations, and I don't tell you the situation. You know that that's our family, what we see. And I say, for these people, for these little children, who has no clothes, who was lying on the ground and was sick, for these people, for these children, I will work. This 4 years, I will work for them. That after these 4 years, many of these children has a better life since like now. You know what I mean? And that's my goal, and that I want your trust that I can work for that, only for that.
Okay, thank you. I would like just to ask Mr. Sami, Mr. Orhan Akif, and Mr. Sturgeonshine to be more, as much as they can, short and effective, just in a line to be on time with the agenda. So, Mr. Sami, it's your floor.
Здрав. Не знам сега те почав дали ко романеса и немачки исто, ама нема везе, ка почав ко романес. Ака на по Romeo, zdravo Romeo, hallo Romeo. Du weißt, dass wir zusammenarbeiten hier in Deutschland, aber wir haben natürlich auch verschiedene Meinungen. Amen Keraya, die Fondacija HNS, Romeo, Puti, ali naravno si imate različite mišljenja. Kana o Romeo Vakerela, a kana naravno kaj me na sjam jek, naravno kaj sem različite, bila si tačno. Ali u počíbe si dali, amen morate potencijalna uvek kada kaj amen sem različita, kaj sinti si sinti, kaj Roma si Roma, kaj Manus si Manuš. I Evropska zajednica, Kirila kod Lesta Vlafi Mangela jek, celo Evropska zajednica jek, i Germanija se isto različita, da li su onki Bavarske, kaj su si od Origane planine, da li si Komore, sad si kada različiti. Ali, silen je zajednička cilj, kada vam morate potencijalna. Nažalost, kada je Sinti community, amen, nas njamen, kada je podrška, ili si njamen uvek sarteva kada Harici tlesijam kirik. Kirik kod leske soske amencijam ipak on si akate šošala bereš i tako dalje. Po meri be sijam jek. Znači kada sijama žrtve kator fašizam amencijam sjek, ali akana počivdipe nas jame. Dava si jek počive i me misli na kada va amen morati kevati kada jeke glasojala kada va si jek. Znači mit einer Stimme reden. Ja, amen, znači imaš karamende, naravno kaj amen si imam različite. Srpski će Germanci različite. Ko istok, ko zapad, ko sever, ko jug. Ali si imamo zajednička cilj, kada ovaka, na kalma ko ste pisali. I kada vas je poti ko žaman dukala men, jer amen, a kad te aktiviste s dešenstvo so kiraja poti, ki Germanija, nažalost osjećina, kad sam ostani me, kad rokala butjaka i nas jam prihvati me, kad risenito community, kad vas je problem. Isto si kad, na primjer, amen keraja, borinajame protiv diskriminacije kad rogađe, ali na kalnape ste bistrate, na kalnape sa amen je kesta kada naravno amen pastinaja, kaj uvek si amen diskriminacija isto maškar amen. U Bugarsko si počukar, kato rumunsko si počukar, kato rosođena na srpsko si počukar, kato makedonsko, i tako da i tako na to. Da si mislim, kad vam morate velamete nasljeći po kraju. Te mangajača šta čutno uspje. Znači tu vas amen, nego jedino šukari pesi, ko si počukar amen, kad vam ne lamen samo o rezultat kad trebamo ributi. Te kerđum buti lokalnu, nas samo aktivističnu, i morate te si kavav kada vaj buti o rezultatu kad trebamo ributi. A ste si samo aktivisti, samo kerava lapimo obeti, isto sile kad vas značenje, ali na najleski dvor, ali te ne dostignimele, naravno, kad vati se amenge isto, znači, na neki dvor značajno.
Kako sami, poenta svatinje, mislite li aver pučiva?
Oduito pučiva si je prezentacija, sa ovaj kažel gratam proksom, ogratam proksom, a men načitao svojim osnovnjama koji, nažalost, репрезентанти како Европско парламент като Рома на сихак. Ја мен морате поринаем да свако песте перета несте ќе оведе репрезентација и свако песте перета несте превоќате дали локално, дали регионално, теродел барањето дел извештаја и те веламе успех. Значи, морате овеламе пан да повишите репрезентација сарко локално ниво, сарко регионално, национално европско. Филибор.
Okay, danke. I will try just to, so Mr. Sami has two questions, actually one question and 1 point, I think. So he firstly explained that he's working and living in Germany, and he agreed totally with Mr. Franz about all the first and the differences between us, that we are not the same people, the Romani people, and we are different inside as the German, as other nations. That is true, and he agreed with him. But also he says that we should, so he has very short question, does we need to all the time to express the difference between us, that we have all this difference? That is the first small question. Actually, the main question is, he has some kind of small complaints when it comes to representation of the Roman missions in Europe. The people who are not living there for 100 or 200 years or 67 years, who are come in Germany and work, they are not equally represented, and they're not equally represented to the resolution and to the documents, as far as I understand. And the second point is that we need to have, he agreed with Mr. Gratan that we need to have more visibility, to be more represented in all kind of documents, events, and everything, visibility, to have more visibility activity which is going to represent us, the public. So Mr. Franz maybe can reply to our answer, or we can go with Orhan, Akif, and Sirjan, and then Mr. Franz to answer all this question. How would you like, Mr. Franz?
Let me please come very short to react to Sami, what Sami says. We have the point of view is, one point of view is that many Romani people are now so self-confident that they say the Gage, not the Romani people, the Gage must recognize that we are very heterogeneous. So that's a point. Now I will change the view to that that we don't forget this. The view to change from in the aspect of the situation of our people. There we must work together. We are all affected from anti-Gypsyism. We are all. In this point, we are all equal. We are not different. In this point, we are all equal, and that we must. That's something very important. In the fight against anti-Gypsyism, in the fight for the equal rights, we must be together. We must be together. When we are from Romania, when we are Kalo, or when we are Garaju, or what we are, it's plays no role. There we must stand like one man, one woman. But let us take our heterogeneous identity from the Gage. We are very proud of this, that we are heterogeneous and that we are different cultures. That's very good. That's some different things. What Sami speaks about in Germany, that you must know. We have in Germany a law that calls minorities. You have in Germany 4 minorities who are national minorities. That are the Zoben, that are the Friesen, the Dänen, and the German Sinti and Roma. The Sinti and Roma live since 1407 in Germany. the German Roma are living since more than 200 or 250 years. And there is a date, I think it's a date from 8020. When you are there since 8020 in this country, you are a national minority. Now, people came after the Second World War, they have not the same status like the national minority. And that's the point, that is different. Then we have the Council of Sinti and Roma. There's the president, is the Romani Rose. He is the Council of the German Sinti and Roma. That calls from the German minority, not from these Romani people who came after this time, 1950 or so. And that's a different, that we must see, but that plays no role in the fight against anti-Gypsyism and for our rights. In this point, we are all together, we are one. We are the affected people from anti-Gypsyism. And I will concentrate me to this point. In this point, I see we are all one. We must stand together. And the other question is our different, not the difference, our heterogeneity, and this one. Then I'm very proud of that, and you too. And that we must, and that must protect too. So, and we don't let the Gages say that we are all one for them. We are all one. No, 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 that's not right. We are Romani people, but we have all our special culture, what must be protected. And that's the point that I mentioned to this what Sami say.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Khan, please shortly, if you like. Thank you.
Hello, Prince of State. I'm Orhan Takir. Do you hear me?
Yes, but you can be more speak more loud. That's okay, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for the invitation to participate in this discussion. We know each other with Romeo and Gratan, but the other people maybe don't know me. I will speak in English because my Romani dialect is different and maybe most of the people will not understand me very well, I'm saying. I'm Orhan Takir. I'm originally from Bulgaria, but I live in Belgium. I'm an immigrant in Belgium. And I'm here since 2016, so 4 years. For 4 years, I'm in Belgium. I'm observing the situation, and we organized here in Belgium protests. The first Roma protests of Roma migrants against racism, fascism in Bulgaria, and discrimination against Roma. This protest took place in Brussels, in front of the European Parliament, in Ghent, also in The Hague, in Netherlands, and also scattered in other cities across Belgium. The protests were organized because our voice was not heard, and nobody cares about the Roma and what's going on with Roma in Bulgaria particularly. As you know, the situation is very difficult in Bulgaria with our people. And I'm happy to see Romeo, and I took some notes. I want to say that Romeo is maybe the first Roma map who is open for discussion, because the others, the previous maps, were so approachable. It was more difficult to approach them and to talk with them. So I'm happy to see that Romeo is open for discussion. I was listening very carefully to what he said. Romeo, you're right that you said your forefathers are in Germany since maybe 600 years. My forefathers are at the Balkans maybe for 1,000 years, because we arrived earlier. Roma arrived first at the Balkans, and from the Balkans moved to the other parts of Europe. But what really bothers me is that if after 1,000 years we were not included, we were not recognized as equal, how can we achieve this now after so many centuries? This is very, very difficult question, but I think that the problem is in our own minds. The problem is in our own thinking, because we still think how to negotiate with non-Roma, but not how to negotiate among ourselves, how to organize ourselves in order to be equal to non-Roma, because they are organized in different ways. Now, let me ask you the concrete questions. I have a couple of questions which are important regarding the topic we are discussing. So the first question is that if we are realistic and if we consider the things from political point of view, in most East European countries, Central and East European countries, we have far-right and pro-fascist political parties coming to power. This is the situation now in Bulgaria. I was listening to the session of Libe, where you presented your report. I was listening carefully to what other MEPs said. Most of them said there is no political will. There was no political will for the old framework, the old strategies, and there is no political will for the new strategy to be implemented at governmental level. So my first question is there a mechanism, in your opinion, as a MEP, to avoid the governments and to create bodies outside the governments which can exert pressure on the government? Because if we rely on the governments, nothing will happen. Now we have in Bulgaria fascists in the government, and I know that MEP Jambaski also submitted a report regarding the war report, and Jambaski says there is no anti-Gypsyism, there is no racism in Europe. This anti-Gypsyism should be removed, says Jambaski, this Bulgarian MEP from Vemerov, from Pakistan. So, but this fascist party is in the Bulgarian government, they are in the coalition, they are in the new coalition. So even if tomorrow strategy is adopted, the new strategy after 2020 is adopted, how can we, yes, I saw, thank you, I will try to be faster, quicker. We need bodies outside the governments, we cannot rely on the governments. And my question is how you see this, is there a mechanism from your point of view to avoid the governments and to create bodies, outside structures, outside the governments? And my second question is for the creation of Roma structures at EU level, which can lobby for the implementation of the new strategy, because EU has permanent structure, EU level, at Brussels level, a representative structure, and here I make the connection with the works of Graton, who says Roma representation, not just inside the European Parliament, but also outside the Parliament. My third question is, what is the role of the NGOs based in Brussels? Because we know that there is Open Society Institute, there is NR, Ergo, and what is the role of all these NGOs? Are they supportive? How do you work with them? Because we don't have much information about their role in the processes. And my last question is, I agree with you that we are different and we have difference, but the Roma movement started with the idea of Roma unity, that all Roma are one nation with one flag, with one anthem. And if we say, Gaje, we are not united, we are not one, then don't you think that we create or we give them the opportunity to play the game of divide and rule? Roma versus Sinti, Sinti versus Roma, Manush versus Roma, and this is their game. And our game should be unity of all people of our nation in Europe. And just I'm finishing, you know that I'm in Belgium, I'm based in Antwerp, and I would be happy to meet you and Marius personally, and to discuss the practical aspects of all these questions, if you have the time and the wish to do so. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Orhan. Mr. Romeo, can you give shortly replay on this, but shortly, please, because two more people want to speak. Just
okay.
Everybody. Thank you.
Orhan, me našunam sarov from Tirilaba, kaisi connection is nanimisto, aber me kamava so penhap. First, about my relationship to the NGOs. The NGOs are, for me and for the work, very, very important. And I work with Ergo and the other in Brussels. We have a contact with them, and in the most things, they are involved from my point. That's for me very, very important. But we have other NGOs too, not only in Brussels. We have in Spain, or we have in Germany many like Roma Care and HLS and Central, other things, or in Austria. I will try to have so much contact how it's possible to my NGOs, because they make the ground to change the situation. The other point, what you mentioned, is about when we say we are different, we are not. The gadgets say we are not united, because we say we are different people in the Romani community. I will tell you, that's my experience and my feeling. The Gaji was bring me in a kind of justification that I must justification why I'm different, and that anymore. The Gaji must
excuse me, Romeo. I don't understand. Samska,
yeah.
Closed audio. Excuse me, Romeo. Closed audio, Samska.
No, you don't.
Samka, ați avut un microfon, șefe. Un microfon chiar le mute, molim-te.
So now it's better. So, cause many gadgets, that's my experience from myself, brings us in a justification. The first justification was, Romeo, I tell the last time in my whole life I say gypsy, but I don't say dirty gypsy. Why you don't like that I tell you? For me, it's very much easier to say Sinto. It's to the no. That's my right. I want this respect. So that's from the side of that I say that's a heterogeneity to show that we are Romani people and very different. It's for me personality very, very important, and we don't like to bring that. The Gaji brings me in a kind of justification for myself that I don't accept from the Gaji. The working with the NGOs, very important for me, and I cannot work without NGOs. And yeah, I want the contact to the. And then you ask, when we have this strategy, and that's the point, binding characters are very important, because when you have the binding character, then you can punish the national states. And when you can punish them when they don't do it, maybe then it's the other thing. When it's voluntary, they have no fear to do that, not. But when it's binding character, and that's my vision, when we have a binding character, national state must implement that. When not, they have a problem. So, and that's my goal. Maybe when Marius knows something, maybe he can add something too, but that's now for me. I hope next week I'm in Brussels, Orhan. Maybe we can meet us and to speak there bilateral about it.
Yeah, thank you. So I'd like now just to go forward with Akif and Srdjan Shine. Then finally we're going to close with Roxana, and then I will give summary of our discussion because we are speaking for 1 hour and 30 minutes till now. So, but we have a lot of conclusions, mixed languages. So let's keep on the track. So now I would like to ask Mr. Akif.
Sirdian, excuse me, Sirdian, excuse me.
Yeah, hear you. Yes.
It's possible. I can speak.
After okay, you are the last after Roxana because she write me that she wants to speak. But okay, with Naționale Rom we are finishing our discussion. So now Mr. Akif, please.
Thank you, Srdjan. So hello everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Akif Kariman from Macedonia, but I recently moved to Berlin, and I wanted to congratulate on the efforts for preparing this resolution, which is actually like a more or less a summary of the reports of other experts and organizations who were published in February this year, just before the COVID-19 crisis hit us. And I will start with a comment, a thought that, you know, in the main conclusion of the resolution, I don't know, maybe it is because of the translation, because I didn't have access to the English version, so I can understand it better. I have the Croatian, and my Croatian is not quite good, but however, it says to put in first plan Roma community, the fight against the poverty and the anti-Gypsyism towards the Roma community, with which I partially agree. Why? Because I think we should rethink how we frame the narrative of how we approach and demand things, and how we present ourselves as a community in front of the institutions. Because my opinion is that if we put alone ourselves and frame ourselves as a poor community and community that is vulnerable and marginalized, then it only reinforces the ignorance of the Commission, of the Parliament, and the member states, and those who are candidates to start accession negotiations with the European Union. So I think we should rethink how we frame our potential. So are we the ones who are below the others, and now they should feel sorry about us and give us something to help us, or we show our strengths as a community and how we can contribute in the future development and saving Europe of the expansion of the far right groups, which are almost 1/3 right now presented in the European Parliament itself. But also there are many right-wing parties that are in power in the governments of the member states. And the European Commission doesn't take any corrective measures towards them. So just as an example, I could mention the Hungary, Bulgaria, Slovakia. They do many things which are racist towards the Roma, but the European Union doesn't take any corrective measures to stop them, or not to talk about preventing such situations. So this was only an upgrade of what Orhan said before. I completely agree with him. what I would like to congratulate, which I find like different in the resolution, is that the Roma should be, you know, among the decision makers, and that is good not only on the European level but also when preparing the national strategies for Roma inclusion. But again, I like to highlight the importance if we will continue by framing ourselves as vulnerable and poor community, or we will speak more about our strengths as a community and how we can contribute to the society in general. That's one thing. Another thing is there is also mentioned the level of corruption and abuse of the EU funds, especially from the governments, and I want to fully support this. I want to fully support this initiative about, you know, better monitoring mechanisms, but also better, you know, better allocation of these funds, and to see where these funds go, how they are spent, because in the past couple of years this became like the dominant thing in the discourse among the Roma. And I'm speaking this because also there are many politicians who are working for the past 20-30 years. Now they are blaming the younger generations, such as me, that we are the reason why the Roma live in such a bad situation, although we started working just a couple of years ago. Doesn't matter. And the last point, it is actually two questions. So, Mr. Romeo, 2 weeks ago, on the initiative of Zoran Dimov, we had meeting with a couple of other activists, and there were invited also Mr. Petar Polak and Livia Jaroka, and they said that, you know, they want to cooperate with you, but you don't want to cooperate with them. And I don't know if you were invited to join that meeting or not, but however, after that we read a report which states that Ms. Jaroka has herself abused over 100,000 euros for consultancy services for herself. It is on in Hungarian, but I translated that article. So I wanted also to ask, where do you stand in the cooperation with other Roma MEPs? Or can ask the other questions, and what are your plans now, since you know the post 2020 framework has been adopted, and how are you planning for us to help you in preparing plan to review this strategy and to, you know, to make it better, as we think it is, not as the gadget thing. And one more point. Sorry, Serjan, I know I'm wrong, but this is the last point. Again, I'm going back to the narrative. Now, if we frame ourselves again as poor and vulnerable community, and then we say we don't want the gadget to be paternalistic, it is contradictory with one another. So either show our strengths and show us as part of the solution for Europe, or either, you know, we will just reinforce them to tell us how us the Roma should be. That would be all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kariman. Mr. Franz.
Yeah, Mr.
The questions.
Yeah, I want to do it shortly. Akif, Vala. Come off to Kipinil, Canada Pendal, not a labeling as vulnerable people, and so, okay. We must describe the situation, that's clear. That I do on my report, but we're not labeling our people. And two words are in my in my report and my amendments, it calls self-confident and emancipated. That is my amendment for this report too. You know, and then you see that I am not in a labeling that I say poverty, slaves, vulnerable, victims or so. We have victims. We are victims of anti-Gypsyism, but in my amendments is mentioned support self-confidently and emancipated. I think that says all. About the other MEPs, what you mentioned, Peter Pollack is a honorable man. Si I chachu mož, unte penap, po I chachu mož, I chachu Roma no mož, Peter Pollack. And I work with him together. When we are in Brussels. We see us sometimes 2 times a week. We speak together. But you must know something. He is a member of the EEP, and he has his own work, and his focus and his work. You know what I mean? In the question of our people, when he is involved, we work together, and that's no problem. That calls that me and Peter Pollack, we are working together. Then I speak from Livia Jaroka. In this case now of this report, she is a shadow rapporteur. We work together. We make the negotiation together. She is a part of the Fidesz party. And you know what the Fidesz party is. You mention it in the beginning of your speech from far rights. And yet now Imogen in our conference comes member of far rights parties. How you will negotiate really honestly when you are a part of a far right party? That's very difficult. Or it's not difficult. I think it's very difficult. Not only when she is Romney, when she is a Gaji, also I have the same problem with every member of a far right party to discuss about human rights and minority rights. And the same is it with Livia Jaroka. We have different opinions, political opinions, but it's not right that we work not together. That's not right. Member of the parliament to work with the other MEPs. But the difference is how, in which political opinion they have, you know. And then I'm a Green. I'm from the Green Party. I'm a man who gives, my first is human rights and minority rights. And then you are a member of a far right party. That's not your main opinion or duty, you know. And that's just a problematic. And we say, I mentioned again with Peter Pollack. Peter Pollack is a honorable man. He is honestly and he is honorable, and he chachumush. So, and we are together when we speak together, Romanes, we are drinking something and we speak about these things when we work together. Yofi chachu lachumosh. With him, I work together, and with Livia, when we see her, we say, hello, sister, we say, hello, brother. But we have different political opinions, and that's the point. The political opinions, that's the point. Not all. I don't hate her. You know what I mean? She is a sister too. When I have a big meeting with the president, I say, here, my sister, Livia Jaroka. Not hate, but this point,
Летно към Гезла.
The fascist gathering against Roma in Budapest, and the response of this party and of this MP, but okay, what is it? So we're going forward with the next, Mr. Shine, Sergeant Shine, please, the floor is yours, but please be concrete and effective to finish earlier on time the conference, because 2 more participants need to talk. Thank you.
Give me 1 minute, Ferdinand. 1 minute, please.
No, Mr. Shine is going to speak, Roxana, and then you're going to speak Naționale Rom.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Shine, are you here? Mr. Sergeant Shine, your mic.
Шефе, може ли ја да зборам нешто?
Господине Самка, после ќе зборите и вие на крајот, после Национале Ром ми кажа Мозес.
Окей.
Вие конференцијата.
Okay.
Just additionally, the MP from Macedonian Parliament is going to be the last after Naționale Rom. He is going to speak because he cannot use the tool, but okay. So, Mr. Shine, if you don't speak for 30 seconds, I'm going to give the floor to Roxanne. Okay, Roxana, please. It's your
Hello, Arșunescu Martina. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Shine.
Hello.
Arșuneatu. Roxana, sorry. Mr. Shine. Minuta, molim te, te šaj това конкретна, с ки трябва те падао, Mr. Franz трябва те джалпе се.
Мека мам нумат мутату меѓу саворнга бахста стимос, ме штилте да вас као Ромео Franz, те керас лоби пенеште
mail. It's possible you have my email.
I write to you, Romeo Franz. I write to you in Italy language. I write to you.
When?
Yes, sir, and we have received your email, and we will discuss your email next week when Mr. Franz will be back. Because I saw your email is addressed to many other people. I saw it in Italian, and we will discuss about it.
Monday, Tuesday, I will answer to your email. Okay, Paula?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Naționale Rom, they will answer Monday and Tuesday. Thank you very much. Now we are finished with the MP of the Macedonian Parliament, Mr. Samka Ibrahimovski. Please, your points and to give to make summary of this debate and to close it. Thank you.
Овсасто Срđan Мекова буд кратко, суске буд буцава керзам. Мисизава ки аменде си обуца разидимо. Јек роднao NGO, јек роднao политичарија. Жикај на керас политичко партиципација ко сао пувјаки Европа, товем појек депутато Ром, само ки дел шајте джамен англал кода со мислина со те керас. А гана исиамен трин парламентарција ки Европска Унија, аман он авна каторо политичка партија соси гажикане. Кода си јек баро проблеми значи те овел англунипе бутеро менге соске онда дигна те керен ленгере буца со валеда и ленгери политичко партија. Хијек буци што си битно амен насалзамо патриотизмот царо Рома. Образование си битно буца патриотизмо образование. Мора те овела менге синхронизација NGO политикани партиципација, односно политикане мануша, депутатоја ко амаре пувја, контакја те овела мен ко Европарламенти, о Ромео и Пола кем и Сартин Салафе Колака и Джуви. Оливија си искусно политичари, аме бара да те керас јек системско решение Роменго. Кога ќе буд битно со ака на Европа користизла дела проектоја NGO, у NGO родла авер, амено политичаре родаса друго, сакон да буцаси ахмимо. Кога ќе будбаро проблеми, кога се начини амен англалте, антовелам ангунипе. Мислизава мора товел синхронизација NGO политика не мануша, или политика не пратени која на мекајшом катари Македонија. Амен ја канаси изборија ки Македонија, шајте вас пратени која пале, шај мате вас. Аман еке си имаме шанса ака ки Македонија барем те керзам лачес буци те овел 3 депутатора ки Македонија, конденса сајте кера сангунипе еромеге ки Македонија. Значи мора те овеламенге синхронизација NGO политика. NGO родла проектија, аме родаса авер по Европарламент. О Ромео шај кеза с амандмања. Мангава само те пита дали кога амандмања си е синти роменге ки Германија или амандмања си уопште роменге ки Европа. Кога ќе буд битно учим. Симон панда буд буца што те вакерав, сковела менге сигурно шанса ме Симон контакт е Полакоса, Петар Полакоса, е Франц леса да Симон лескоро мейл ка там канакено изборија, прво со ковел и буци, керав контакт, амаре европарламентарница, совар да те керас сарајек системско решение роменге ки Европа. На само е роменге, синти роменге или Рома по околапуја, значи системско решение тоа се е роменге ки сарајек бари стратегија роменге ки Европа тоа. Кога си ек буд битни документи, со вакрза со Срđan Шајн, те овеламе јек сарајек родибе катароево парламенти те ден отчет сокерде роменге ки Европа. Срđana убуца ки Европа. Кога се буд битно буци со валаза те издействуе на маре европарламентари ки Европа. Овен састе авердром кава кера монда нешто повише, али што ске неаме буд вакси, овен бактале селями стауранге.
Обсасто Рајо Самка, so I will try very shortly to translate. I will translate first the question because it was the last, so it stopped in my mind. So the question is to Roma, the Roma and Sinti in Germany or the Roma, the question, and the comments and the point of Mr. Saka were that we need synchronization between the political and the NGO bloc. Actually, the connection between the NGO sector and the political will and political parties. In that way, we're going to have more improvement of the situation of the Roma. He also said that he has very good cooperation with Mr. Polak, but also he would try to get in touch with you. Now, he also give compliments about Livia Yorka, about her work as politician, but also he said that in this period it's elections in Macedonia, and maybe we will have to have 3 members of parliament Roma in the Macedonian parliament. So his general point is we need to work together, we need to synchronize our work and to synchronize our work between the NGO organizations, political parties, politicians, just in line to improve the Roma situation. So this is the general, the overview of his speech. So Mr. Franz, it's your turn.
John, the first question, you was not connected. You must repeat the first.
Sorry. The question is, does the amendments that you made link it with the Roma and Sinti on you?
Srđane, jesi tu prekidija ova?
Sorry, so... Okay, sorry. The connection maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in a really tight contact with some NGOs in Germany too. And you must know, Prala Samka, that I am on this work for our people as an activist since more than 25 years. That calls, I come from the roots. And, you know, I have 6 uncles and aunts who was murdered in the Holocaust. And I'm very near to this topic. And that calls, all what I say and my opinions is the influence of my work as activist in this time from our old people who was Holocaust survivor, and they fight for our rights and to recognized as victims as from the Holocaust. That makes me my political sin. You know what I mean? And when I was before I was a member of the European Parliament, I was in the same situation. I was a part of an NGO, and I know how important is the basic. And that's maybe the other question, what you say. I'm very happy that we can stay in contact. I will stay so like it's possible, but I'm not, I have not, a day has only 24 hours, you know what I mean? But I will do what I can do to stay in contact with our people, with the NGOs, and I'm really thankful for every impulse. That's very, very important for me, and that I mentioned before too. And something I will add. Many Gaje will see now in the new recovery plan what the EU does, see as maybe as an human potential, you know, and that's for me. Then I hear this words, and that's for me very, very, very dangerous. You know, when you see our history in Romania, where our peoples more than 450 years was slaves, and so there was a potential for them. We are human people, we are human beings, not a potential for that they have more success for their money or for work. That's not right. That's a topic in my amendments too. That no more slave salaries for our people. That's important too. When I was in Romania, people worked for 150 euro per month, 30 days, and when one day they failed, they get nothing. That are more or less than a slave.
Okay.
That's not more possible. And at last, I will say, I am open. I'm happy when we have conferences, and I will do everything what in my power is. I will do to stay with you in contact, to inform you, and maybe I have seen something to speak in Budapest by a demonstration. I will check this, that I have time. I will do these things for us, and you can be sure that I will do my best.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Franz. Can everybody hear me good now? Yes, okay. So thank you very much. We spent 2 hours and 13 minutes on this debate. We speak about Romeo Franz, his advocacy and his work on putting legislative strategies and law frames about improving the situation of Roma and Sinti, not only in Germany, but about Europe level, improving their situation. The main conclusion was that the anti-Tsiganism is a taboo in Europe because people don't understand what is anti-Tsiganism and have activity of anti-Tsiganism. Actually, the fascism and racism is so deep in the society. We can see that and hear that from Italy, from Romania, from Bulgaria, from Germany, and etc. So we are part of the European society. So we don't need only integration; we need also inclusion in the system of functioning of the Europe. Also, we heard a lot of conclusions about organizing the community. I will say also legal empowerment the community, because it's very important for their legal understanding of the matters, just to know how to put themselves in a situation for getting the services of the institutions. Also, we heard very good proposals for working together in one big network, helping and supporting each other just with one goal to improve the situation of Roma and Sinti in Europe. We heard that Mr. Romeo Franz is the first MP in the European Parliament history who has the courage to speak loud about this kind of situation and to put them on papers like legislative, just to improve the situation institutionally, which I'm very happy. The work of other MPs, they're working, but this struggle of Mr. Franz is very, very concrete and effective in the way to get long-term sustainability and improving the situation of the Roma and Sinti in European level. We also have in the Zoom group chat some points. I would like Marius also to have a look of these points, and Mr. Franz and others, just to see what is the opinion of other people who don't have the opportunity to speak because we don't have any more time. So Mr. Franz has sent his email address, be in contact with the MP. And finally, I would like to ask Marius, Mr. Franz, if there is any chance to get electronic version of this amendment that you prepare it, just we and other people just to give their contribution.
Yes, once we will get the collection of the amendments and the translation in all the languages, I will be happy to share them with you. I just need to say that everything that was mentioned by all of the people is already included in the amendments, and even more. But I will let you the freedom, of course. We will be happy that you will read them, and then you can comment and come up also with other suggestions, proposal. I do not make a promise that I will be able to send them, let's say, early next week, because it does not depend on me. But by the end of next week, I will surely send them to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Marius, Mr. Romeo, Tovens Baktaleta, Isaste Sarine. I hope that we're going to see each other and discussing about good situation, passing all the amendments that you published in the European Parliament.
Misto. Chen de Blis, Chen Saste, Mekamafte Dikasmin, Sik Pale.
Yeah, Moses, you have the final word.
No, me samo mangarta krap baro ofsasto, bašo Romeo, ta je bašo lesko asistenti, ta je bašo sa o participantia con la soliletan, ki abisuti konferencija, siem ki gân kaj asarke bido konferencencer, em asarke učestnikoncer, amen šajte krajek nevo progres ko kijek minodovsko revolucija bašo Roma. Oven saste dikamen panajek puti ko majsik vakti.
Oven saste la čodive.
Bye.
Bye.
Javen saste.
Baš Simos.